Ever find yourself terrified of overwriting a super important file? Or maybe you've wished you could work on a coding project with friends without emailing final_version_for_for real, zip back and forth. Well, today we're going to demystify Git. It's this awesome tool that solves exactly these problems, whether you're working alone or with a whole team.
So here's the game plan. We're going to start with the why. Like, why even bother with source control? Then we'll get our hands dirty and create your very first local repository. After that, we'll see how to work with others using remotes, cover the key commands to keep everyone in sync, and finally, we'll do a quick recap of everything. All right, let's dive right into our first topic, understanding source control. Look, before we get into all the fancy commands, it's really, really important to get why a tool like Git is an absolute game changer for any project, no matter the size.
So what in the world is Source Control Management, or SCM? Think of it like this. First, it's a time machine for your code. It tracks every single change you make to your files, so you have this perfect history you can rewind to at any time. And second, it's like an air traffic controller for your team. It helps coordinate all the work from different people so their changes can merge together nicely without causing a total mess.
Okay, let's make this real. Take a look at this. This is version 1 of a simple Python file, main.py. This is our ground zero, our fresh start. All it does right now is return that classic hello world message. Simple enough, right? All right, fast forward a bit. Somebody's come in and made a change. See? The welcome message is now, welcome to the community. It's a little friendlier. Now, this is a tiny change, I get it. But what if this file was like 1,000 lines long? How on earth would you remember who made this one specific change or when they did it? And that's where things start to get tricky. And now it's pure chaos. You can see how this escalates, right? Maybe you have one developer changing the app color to green while at the exact same time another developer is tweaking the message format. Trying to manually keep track of who did what and when and why, it's an absolute nightmare. This right here, this mess, is exactly the problem that Git was designed to solve. So, how do we actually tame that chaos? Well, that leads us perfectly into our next section, your first local repository. We're going to move from just talking about it to actually doing it, focusing on how you can track changes right there on your own machine. Okay, the local Git workflow is basically a simple 3-step process. First, you initialize. That's just you telling Git, hey, pay attention to this folder. Then you stage. This is where you pick the specific changes you want to save. It's kind of like putting items in your shopping cart before you check out. And finally, you commit. This is the checkout. You take a permanent snapshot of everything in your cart and save it to your project's history with a little note about what you did. Let's look at the first command you'll ever run, git init. You just type this into your project folder. When you hit enter, Git creates this little hidden folder where it's going to store all the version history and tracking info. And just like that, boom, your project is now officially a Git repository. All right, next up is Git status. Seriously, you're going to be typing this one all the time. It's basically you asking Git, hey, what's the current situation? The first time you run it, you'll see this untracked files list. That just means Git sees the files are there, but you haven't told it to start tracking them yet. So how do we tell Git to start tracking them? With git add, you type git add and then the file names you care about. This moves the files into something called the staging area. Think of that staging area as your draft or that shopping cart we talked about. It lets you bundle up a set of related changes before you make them permanent. And of course, if we run our favorite command, git status, again, look at that. The files aren't untracked anymore. Now they're under changes to be committed. This is Git's way of telling us, yep, these files are in the staging area and ready to go for the final step. And here it is, the grand finale of our local workflow, git commit. This command takes everything you put in the staging area and locks it in as a permanent snapshot in your project's history. Now, that -m part is super, super important. It stands for message. This is where you write a short note explaining what you did. Trust me, writing good commit messages will save you and your teammates a ton of headaches later. Okay, so you've got the hang of tracking changes on your own computer. Awesome. But coding is often a team sport, right? So what happens when you need to work with other people? That's what Section 3 is all about, collaborating with remotes. We're going to see how to go from a solo act to a full-blown team effort. First, let's get this straight, the difference between local and remote. Your local repository? That's your private playground. It lives right on your computer. You can break things, try crazy ideas, nobody else is affected. The remote repository, on the other hand, is the single source of truth. It's a central hub, usually on a server somewhere, where everybody's work comes together. This picture here shows that local world perfectly. You see 4 different laptops, and each one has its own full copy of the My Application project. Each developer is working away in their own little bubble, totally separate from everyone else. So, how do they finally share all that great work they've been doing? They push it. Look at the arrows in this diagram. They're all pointing from the laptops up to that central remote server. When you're happy with your changes, you push them up. That's how you share your work with the rest of the team. And what about getting updates from everyone else? Well, you do the exact opposite. You pull. Now you can see the arrows are pointing down from the remote server to the laptops. You pull down all the latest changes from the team to get your local copy in sync. This is how you make sure you're not working on old code. Okay, that brings us to section 4, syncing with the team. We get the idea of push and pull, so now let's look at the actual commands you'll be typing to make all this collaboration happen. The first thing you need to do is connect your local project to a remote one. You do that with the git remote add command. Let's break it down. After add, you give the remote a short nickname, and by strong convention, everyone just calls it GitHub. Then you just paste in the URL to the remote repository. Think of this as creating a bookmark in your local repo that points to its home on the internet. All right, ready to share your commits? The command for that is git push. This sends your local changes up to the remote. So git push -u GitHub master means we're pushing to the remote named GitHub, and we're pushing our master branch. That little -u is a set upstream flag. You only need it the very first time you push a branch. It just tells Git to link them together, so next time you can just type git push. Now, what if you're the one joining an existing project? You won't use git init. Instead, your very first command will be git clone. You just type git clone and then paste the URL of the project. This does exactly what it says. It downloads a perfect, complete copy, a clone, of the entire project, history and all, onto your machine. And last but not least, how do you stay up to date? With git pull. This command is your best friend. It reaches out to the remote server, fetches all the changes your teammates have pushed, and automatically merges them into your local copy. You'll probably run this every single day to make sure you've got the latest code from the team. Wow, we've covered a lot. So let's wrap this up with our final section. A quick recap of the whole Git workflow, just hitting the most important points. So what's the big picture? It's this. You work on your own machine. That's your local repo. You save your work in small chunks using add and commit. When you've got something ready to share, you push it up to the team's remote repo. And to get everyone else's latest work, you clone a project once to get started, and then you pull often to stay up to date. That's really the heartbeat of working with Git. And that's it. You now have the basic building blocks of version control with Git. This is a huge skill that opens up a whole new world of collaboration. You can now confidently work on bigger, more exciting projects with other people, knowing your code is safe and sound. Your journey into collaborative coding has officially started, so I guess there's just one question left. What are you going to build next?